Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Bunny Says, and I want to welcome you to another episode of Cinderella Phenomenon. Now, before we get started on the recap, I just want to mention there is a chick outside, a bird that is cheeping and peeping and chirping. Hopefully, I'll try to cut it out as much as possible, but if you hear an occasional chirp, I'm sorry. But it's the summertime and the windows are open and it's a bright day out and it's a beautiful, warm day out, so let's just go with it. Now, from last I remember, we were escaping with Jurian and Garland from the palace, and unfortunately, we bumped into our mother. We didn't bump into her; she appeared in front of us and incited Jurian and Garland to start fighting her, and we managed to escape, but at the expense of Garland, who stayed to fight her. While Jurian stayed to fight her, we went back for Jurian. Garland convinced me to go back for Jurian. We went, and she attacked and killed Garland. And then she said she was going to get revenge and on those who opposed her, or those who changed my mind or influenced me. I did not want to do what she said, but she considers it a betrayal. I don't think of it as a betrayal. I think of it as, well, just not doing what she says. As we've come to notice that she's just basically evil. And she's been attacking young Gail and just subduing all the people of the town and of the kingdom. So we escaped and ran to the Marchen. And we met Waltz along the way, and Waltz helped us, and we told him what happened to Garland. So let's continue on from here. As soon as the Marchen doors close behind us, Jurian collapses. Jurian. Luckily, I am close enough to catch one of her arms, and Waltz is fast enough to catch the other. Move her to the chair. Together, we manage to guide Jurian to the chair. We set her down on it as gently as we can. Now remember, Jurian was wounded fairly badly as far as I remember. I watch as she unfolds on the chair, and that is when I see the dark red slashes and tears in her clothing. Yeah, totally, I remember that. Some of her wounds are open and visibly bleeding. We were hoping to bring her. I remember we were hoping to bring her here to heal her, hoping that Parfait could heal her. She's still bleeding. Waltz pulls a cloth from his back pocket and hands it to me. Clean what you can. I'll get Lady Parfait and Rumple. He runs off, leaving me alone with Jurian. It looks like she's bleeding everywhere. I steel myself and kneel by her side. Gently, I reach out and begin to wipe at the worst of what I can see. Jurian moans and I flinch in sympathy. I'm sorry. I feel a lump rise in my throat. I convinced Garland to go back. If I hadn't, he wouldn't be... He wouldn't have... Jurian shifts slightly to put a hand on my cheek. Her touch is cool and gentle. Jurian? There is a softness in her gaze, and an inexplicable kindness in the touch of her hand. After a moment, Jurian slowly nods, and her eyes fall closed on a sigh. Wait, is she okay? Jurian? Jurian! Waltz. She just closed her eyes. She's not speaking. She's not going to die too, is she? Not if I have anything to say about it. Excuse me, princess. And here's Rumpel. Remember, Rumpel is a doctor, so... Rumpel gently pushes me aside, and I let him, hovering over his shoulder as he crouches to inspect Jurian. Well? Princess. Waltz steps beside me and then gently places his hand on my arm. What? Rumpel needs to work his magic now. And... so... why don't we get you something to drink, I'm not going to leave her. Princess, please. We should let Rumpel work. I look back over my shoulder, watching how carefully Rumpel attends to Jurian. Okay. Waltz's hand acts as my lifeline as he helps me into the tavern area. My legs become weaker with every step. Oh, here's Delora. Hi, stranger. Delora. I only realize that I am running to her after I barrel into her. Oh. I bury my face in her shoulder as I suppress a sob. Delora's arms come around me, holding me tight as whatever calm facade I was holding up comes apart at the seams. Delora. Waltz, would you please get those mugs? Of course. Delora leads me to one of the benches, one of her arms still around me so she can rub my back. Somehow, the simple gesture is helping me calm down. Lucette, are you hurt? I shake my head. Thank goodness for that. I stay in her embrace until Waltz returns to place something on the table. How are we doing? I pull away reluctantly to rub at my eyes. I'm okay. Delora takes a mug and places it in my hand. Good. Now drink. Speaking of which, I would like to wet my throat here a little bit. Excuse me. I do not question and raise the mug to my mouth. Hot chocolate. Delora made this for me before. That actually sounds very good. Some hot chocolate. I take a few deep swallows of the hot, sweet liquid. Better? Yes. Lucette, can you tell me what happened? Mother found us in the tunnels. Jurian told Gollin to get me out. My throat threatens to close, but I force the words out. Mother is so strong, and I thought Jurian might not survive. So I convinced Gollin to go back, and that's when... I stare down at my mug, my hands trembling. It's my fault. It's all my fault. If I hadn't convinced Gollin to go back, Mother wouldn't have killed him. The silence in the tavern is deafening. Finish your hot chocolate, Lucette. I obey without a word. Everyone is going to be so angry with me. It's my fault Gollum is dead, and it's my fault Wherein is injured. Delora, have you heard about your step-family? I know they're gone. Are they dead as well because of me? Hey, don't look like that. I'll have you know that I had to use a sleeping spell on Prince Rod and Prince Emmeline earlier. They heard about what Wherein and Gollum were going to do tonight. I don't think I would have been able to stop them from coming along on the rescue mission otherwise. What? You got them out, Princess. Varg would have killed them if you hadn't stepped in. The Queen was already waiting at the end of the tunnel on the day the Prince and Princess escaped. Alcaster must have somehow gotten wind of the escape plan, which is why he had Varg try to eliminate them then and there. Security tightened more after that day. No, thank goodness. I assume she means thank goodness they escaped, not thank goodness that security tightened. And Delora, and we've been worrying about you ever since you left. Well, ever since you stormed out all those months ago. Delora's smile is sad as she reaches up to push my hair out of my face. None of this was your fault, Lucette. If anything, it was mine. Mine and Parfait's for letting this happen. We tried to help you escape, but we couldn't break the shield around the palace, in fear of putting everyone inside in danger. That is why we had to wait. We never thought we'd have to worry about Hilda being revived. No, we would have liked to save you outside of the palace. That's right. I was out of the palace more than a couple of times. Once with Varg and another with Mother. We couldn't put the lives of others in danger when Hilda was right there. She would have killed the citizens. Even if I wanted to escape that day, the day I was with Varg, he wouldn't have let me. I gripped my now empty mug. Princess? I understand how you feel, and I know it's difficult. But frankly, we have bigger fish to fry. I think you realize now what kind of person Hilda is. I do. Then you know what we have to do. I know too well what it is we must do. In fact, I knew this was bound to happen sooner or later. I started this. I do not know if I can fix everything, and I do not know if I can save Angel. But no matter how long it might take, I must make things right. I finally look up at Delora and nod. We have to stop Mother. Now, Chapter 9, Rebellion. Because of the severity of Whereин's wounds, Rumpel decided he would bring her to the nearest clinic so she could be better cared for. Anise decided to go with him, and surprisingly, Ophelia and her children all opted to go as well. Now the only ones left here at the tavern are me, Delora, Waltz, and Karma. They may not say it, but I'm sure they are blaming me for what is happening to Angel right now. I need to make things right. I close my eyes as a sudden bout of dizziness comes over me. Mother has always been the person that mattered most to me. I never questioned or disobeyed her because she was so important. She was my light in days that were often so dark. But I have no choice. If Mother isn't stopped, who knows how many more lives will be lost. The only way to stop Mother is to kill her, isn't it? Delora, I'm sorry, but this really is the only way. Yes, I know. But I do not think I could kill her myself. Delora has a knowing look in her eyes as she turns to address Waltz. We'll leave as soon as Buffet comes back from our meeting with the fairies. If you can fully use your magic, then we may actually stand a chance. Lucette, magic? What are you talking about? Waltz is just a street musician. What help could he be? Delora, don't underestimate our magician. Waltz is a witch, and a lot stronger than he looks. Waltz is a witch? Waltz, you know I have the Neverland curse. Yes? I do not know that fairy tale. But what does that have to do with anything? Waltz, your mother was the witch that cursed me. What? Waltz, if you are also a witch, how can you be cursed? Your mother is the Tenenbaum bearer, which means she has the power to punish all witches if she chooses. As to why he was cursed, that's Delora speaking. Waltz's expression darkens. Hilda needed to be stopped. I knew I couldn't defeat her alone, so I enlisted the help of the fairies. I betrayed her, and she punished me before she died. Waltz almost single-handedly brought about the end of the Great War. That's Delora speaking. He's the reason we've been enjoying this peace for as long as we have. I never knew. Of course, you could only imagine how displeased Hilda was with Waltz. Waltz. Hilda stole my shadow and sealed it away in Neverland. Your shadow? We really need to work on your fairy tale knowledge one of these days, Princess. Peter Pan is a boy that lives in Neverland, which is a place where children never grow up. Waltz's curse means he has been frozen in a child's body since Hilda cursed him all those years ago. He can't grow up, and he can't use any magic. Well, I could still do some spells, but only simple, harmless ones. For Waltz to get his magic back, he needs to find the Tinkerbell. Wow, really? He needs to find Tinkerbell, which is the key to Neverland. We need to unlock his shadow. But all this time you've never found Tinkerbell on Neverland? I've looked everywhere I can think of. This is Waltz speaking. I'm sure she cast a spell on it too. On it to make it more difficult to locate. Even in the palace? Delora snorts and I suddenly feel embarrassed. Oh, of course not. Why would Waltz look in the palace first? I mean, especially considering Hilda is the queen and has numerous secret chambers for things she wants to keep hidden. Looking through the entirety of the palace for a small box might be difficult. Neverland is a box that was left to me by my parents. Wait, we have a small box, don't we? Waltz. It's made of gold with carvings that resemble a pair of wings. What? Waltz jumps at my sudden reaction. Princess? That box. I had forgotten about it, but I can vaguely remember an old box in my room that matches that description. Mother left me a trinket box and a key that matches that description. She told me never to touch the box or to let anyone see it. I've had it for years. All this time, Tinkerbell Neverland was with you? I never knew what was inside. I was too afraid to disobey Mother's orders. Waltz. The thought of her giving you the box never even crossed my mind. But now, thinking back at it, it makes sense. I want to ask him what he means, but we are running out of time. I will have to ask him about it at a later time. I can get Neverland and Tinkerbell to you. I can return your magic. Delora. With Waltz back to his true form, we might have a fighting chance at this. So what do we do first? We. There is no we in this, Lucette. Only us. But I just said I could help. Waltz. It is too dangerous, Princess. But I am the only one who knows where to find the box. Then you would tell us where it is and we'll retrieve it. It's as simple as that. I scowled at her with my arms crossed. I refuse to stay here and be useless while everyone else puts themselves at risk, saving Angel. Angel is this way because I brought back Mother. I must take responsibility. And I will not let anyone else die at Mother's hands. Lucette. Mother is less likely to harm me. I have a better chance of getting Neverland and Tinkerbell without causing a disturbance. How can you say that after what's already happened? You're not safe either, Lucette. Oh wow, what was that? No sooner has she said that, the words, that a terrible blast echoes through the Marchen. Whoa, what's... A cough as smoke envelops the tavern. A silhouette emerges in front of us, and I feel my blood turn cold when I realize who it is. Fog. How did he get in here? I thought it was... Oh, he's cursed too, so he can enter the tavern. Just when I thought I was safe, Fog reappears. Oops. I always forget how powerful this thing can get. Where previously there had been a wall made of stone, sturdy and strong, there is now a sizable hole. Remnants of brick and stone collapse inward in the aftermath. The dust rises to settle around Vogg's feet, where he stands casually twirling his cane. Open without disturbing anything, but all those doors were locked. Waltz. Karma. Karma? Delora and I turn to glance at the wall behind us where Waltz is looking. Karma is standing there, injured. His forehead has a large gash, and one of his arms is limp and useless. He still manages to tightly grip the hilt of his sword with his other hand. Where did Karma come from? Karma. Okay, Karma is here. In his boy form, sort of. I would have appreciated you destroying less property when you knocked on the tavern door. Varg. And I would have appreciated it if you had gotten out of my way when I asked politely, so I wouldn't have had to resort to explosions. Excuse me. Seems both of us are disappointed. Waltz. What do you want, Varg? Don't we all already know the answer to that question? Come on. Varg turned to look at me expectantly. I thought the stolen goods would be brought here. What did you just call me? Kama lets out a harsh laugh. Has no one told you that women do not like being imprisoned against their will? Varg. Has no one told you people that it's not good to steal? Lucette. I am not an item to be stolen or imprisoned. I ball my hands into fists. I cannot let Varg hurt anyone else here. I have no idea if this will work. But if Fritz is fighting, then he must be able to hear my voice. Fritz. Varg growls, his eyes bright and angry as he glares at me. You need to give up on him, Princess. Never. Fritz, I know you're still there. Varg. No matter what you say, nothing will change. Fritz is gone. Lucette. Adiuva. Varg. He won't. Varg chokes on his words and doubles over. You are being very annoying. Did it work? Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed Karma preparing to attack while Varg is momentarily weakened. But something does not feel right. Karma, stop. What? Varg. Get the princess away from here. Karma, what's happening? That voice. Fritz. Despite the fact that it is Varg standing before me, it is most certainly Fritz looking at me through those eyes. Fritz. Please. I don't know how long I can hold him here. You all need to get out of here while you still can. You need to keep the princess safe. Keep her away from the palace. Delora. Waltz, get her out of here now. No. I dodge Waltz's reaching hands as they attempt to run toward Fritz. Fritz. Keep her safe, please. Karma. Now. No, don't hurt him. Karma runs forward, his sword raised, just as Waltz grabs my hand and pulls me out of the way. No. Time slows as I watch Varg slowly come back to coherence. His lips curl into a snarl as he begins to bring his cane down to the floor. Delora throws her hand out, the collected light racing towards Varg. Varg stumbles back, his cane never hitting the floor. Varg growls as he glares at Delora. Witches are so inconvenient. Karma. Unfortunately, Delora is not the only inconvenience in this room. Varg raises his cane to block Karma's next swing. Tisk. Waltz grabs my hand and tugs. We have to go, Princess. I glance back at Karma and Delora. There must be something I can do. Well, I could either help them or follow Waltz. I don't know there's anything I could do. I don't think I could help them. I got Fritz back as long as I could. I think I better follow Waltz. Because... No, I want to help, but... I better follow Waltz. But... I can barely protect myself. That's right, I mean... Perhaps I would just get in their way. I do not resist as Waltz pulls me out of the machine. Okay, we're in the town. Even as we set foot outside the machine, I turn back. I cannot just leave them there. This is wrong. I can't just leave Delora and Karma there. Not when I can do something. I dig my heels on the ground, bringing Waltz to an abrupt stop. We have to go back. Princess, we can't. Karma's hurt. We just need to get Varg's cane. Then we can stop him. Waltz, we can't put you in harm's way again. You need to get away from here. I rip my hand away from his grasp as I reach out to the machine door. I can distract Varg and create an opening. No, I will distract Varg. That's Waltz speaking. Waltz does not give me any chance to protest as he throws open the machine door. But we have to do this, quick. Varg, not so fast. Karma, over here, you dog. Whoa. Okay, another explosion. The force sends me down to the ground, and the smoke in the air is me gasping for air. What just happened? Karma is once more collapsed on the floor. I see Waltz struggling toward him through the debris from the blast. Delora has dropped to one knee. Her face is pale and blood trickles from the side of her mouth. The only one still standing is Varg. How does Varg have such power? No, maybe I shouldn't have left, because if I stayed, he might not have done that. Delora, I really hate that damn stick. Varg looks at me and raises an eyebrow. So, are you going to be a good girl and come along quietly? Or am I going to have to convince you by killing them? He twirls his cane, a smirk on his face. If I use this again, I might end up destroying this building. No, no more death. I cannot let this happen. I'm not a patient man, Princess. So it has come to this. I don't have a choice. Delora is looking at me desperately as I rise, but I ignore her piercing gaze. Don't be stupid, Lucette. Lucette, you leave everyone here alone? Varg nods, amusement flickering in his eyes. As my princess commands. Waltz, Princess, don't. I'm so sorry. But just as I start to move toward Varg, a bright light shines out from behind me. Whoa, what was that? Whoa, what was that? The shield of light pushes forward and past me, shoving Varg back and out through the hole he'd made in the wall. I turn, barely able to believe what I see. Parfait. Well, oh, it's Parfait. I knew it could only be her. She's the only one with the power. She comes to stand in front of me. Parfait, listen closely. We don't have much time. Parfait's eyes flicker to Varg, who is shifting ever so slightly in the rubble. Even I can tell that he is only temporarily out of commission. Parfait, tomorrow midnight, meet us at the palace gates. Bring Neverland and Tinkerbell with you. But do you understand? I falter as I imagine what Parfait could possibly be planning. But I have no time, and I could read nothing in her gaze. There was nothing else for me to do but nod in understanding. Yes, I understand. Parfait smiles at me as she caresses my cheek with a gentle hand. I have faith in you, princess. We all do. You'll be fine. Parfait grabs me by the shoulders and forcefully pushes me toward Varg. Varg catches me, his hands firmly gripping my shoulders as I am careened into him. Parfait, keep her safe, Fritz. Varg flinches. He is inhaling and getting ready to speak when the air around us suddenly thins, and we are swallowed by light. When I am able to breathe again, I open my eyes and see that I am back at the palace. Okay. Let's stop here, as we're obviously, Parfait has a plan. She pushed us toward Varg so we could get back to the palace to get the box. And they're probably going to break into the palace and get the box from me. Hopefully. And, yeah, hopefully that's the plan, so. Anyway, maybe I made a bad choice running away, but I don't know. Anyway, okay. I'm gonna stop the file here. It's getting on towards 40 minutes. That's a little bit long, so. Next, I guess we'll be battling in the palace. As Varg brings me back. And hopefully I can get a hold of that box. And Waltz could sneak in, and I could give it to him. So he could use his magic. Break his curse and use his magic, so. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. And I hope you enjoy this. Please join me for the next part, and please like and subscribe if you like it. And I'll see you soon. So I'll say goodbye.